Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude at BeyondMystic. Happy to be back, and welcome to this deep woo-woo episode of Tarot Readings by Janine. You can find the lovely and amazing Janine at Sending Ravens here on YouTube, and also Tarot by Janine. Janine, welcome back. How are you?
Hi, Jean-Claude. I'm doing great. How's everybody doing?
Excited to be back in the chair. I had a few
Yeah.
days off with Sarah and have a little bit of a tan. So
Yep.
I had a lot of emails from you guys wishing me a happy vacation and all that.
Yep.
So big thank you to all of you. Really happy to be back in the chair. Janine and I were in the chair earlier today, of course, recording the latest episode of the Beyond Crypto Woo. That's available now to the Insider Access Pass members, and probably tomorrow to the public at large. First of all, Janine, let's talk about this. There's a lot going on here. We have a lot on the slide deck for tonight's show. But what did you make of this? I don't know how to say it. Let's just say this episode for now. It was different in many ways. What would you share with the audience?
Well, at first it felt like a hot seat because of all the activity to the negative with all the cryptos and the Bitcoin. But then the more we looked, it did really look like a consistently patience is going to be needed. And we always said, like, for months and months leading up, we knew there was going to be a big market crash.
Yeah.
And that's what's obviously happening right in front of our eyes. I mean, how could you deny it at this point? Right. And so things are going to get shaky, but some things will survive it really well. And other things maybe won't. But so it was different in a way that, we had to approach it differently.
Right. I found also making the tableau of all these news items, I had a little bit of a better understanding because everything is convoluted. Everything that's up is down. Everything that's down is up. Gray is black, or white is black. Everything is absolutely crazy right now. I was like, guys, go check it out. Again, it'll be available to you guys tomorrow to the public at large, but the Insider Access Pass right now. And also this episode here, this is absolutely funny, guys, because we've been decoding these special sites around the world here for the last couple of weeks with Julie and Janine. And we recorded this one just before I took a couple of days off, and the plan was to launch this last Wednesday while I was on vacation. And when I got to launch it, I couldn't find the episode. So then, of course, the title is Bermuda Triangle. So I sent an email to our tech guys, the guys who handle our private video servers. I'm like, where the hell did this thing go? We recorded this clearly. And it says video live stream ended, but I couldn't find it. So I guess it was in the Bermuda Triangle for a little while. At any rate, I finally got it on Sunday night. What had happened is the stream was attached to another stream to another stream. So it wasn't where it was supposed to go. I'm not sure how that happened. At any rate, I was able to take it all back, cut it up, and put it back on. So you guys on the Insider Access Pass already have this. And I did launch this one earlier today. As well for all of you guys in the public there. So it's available now in pay-per-view. Janine, let's talk about this super weird episode of the Bermuda Triangle. Not only the fact that we lost the episode, but the connection to, I won't even say it. You guys can go read the description. This was crazy, Janine. Explain this, how this is getting weirder and weirder by the day.
It just went right off the tracks, this one. Somewhere nobody expected, which I guess might be, again, you got to watch using the word Bermuda Triangle, I guess. It was out there. Let's just say it was out there, but it was extremely fun to do because it was enlightening, and it was like solving mysteries. Super fun.
Yeah. And I think we're all part of these, the reason why we're doing these special locations around the world. And by the way, the one we're recording this week is the Vatican. You guys are going to be blown away by the questions that we're setting up for the cards for this Wednesday. But anyways, the point of all of this is we're being called as humans to revisit some of these sites to understand why all the obfuscation, why all the government interventions, because we're moving into a world where perhaps we're going to have, again, access to all of these sites and understand why and how they've been manipulated in our understanding of this current reality, which is changing underneath our feet. So yes, Ocean Odell says, so excited. Yes, it's exciting. There's a lot there, so go check it out. Okay, Janine, where do I even start with tonight? First of all, going back to the Beyond Crypto Woo, folks, there's so much news. Like, I spent 2 hours removing stuff from my slide deck. It's just like, it's absolutely crazy how the scroll is long, and every day there's 10 news articles that I could talk about. But let's start here. There's a couple of weird things that happened this weekend, including the 17 that just made a big, I guess, return to the spotlight. We'll get into that in a moment here. But also what was interesting was this. You and I had done an investigation on this a couple of months ago. We had talked about the dead man switch, perhaps where some of this information was, et cetera, et cetera. But this was on Zero Hedge this weekend. 1 year after his death, so-and-so's body is still being held by the government, fueling more conspiracies. Janine, let's start there. And folks, please do go watch that old episode we did on that. Yeah. It was absolutely fascinating, but clearly something's up with this story. It doesn't make sense still. So what can we pull from the cards here to figure out? Jay might be on track here in the live chat. Thank you, Jay, for that comment on the screen now. Let's pull some cards from to see what universe wants us to know. Yeah,
he's alive. That's a really good health card. It's just not time to let us in on it. So he's actually healthy and alive.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then the sun was in the middle. Like, there's no way those are passing over cards.
Right.
He's healthy and alive, which is, I think, what we came to on that other one. I mean, we got a lot of interesting things, but one of them was he was with us still.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a strategy. He's in hiding. And I believe whoever put that out there, it was a strategic post.
Mm-hmm.
It was either signaling to the bad guys or out and out outing them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think he's working for the White Hats.
I agree. Hey, thank you, everyone. Everybody's happy I'm back. I'm happy to be back too. I've been looking forward to doing these shows. First of all, it's the first time in 2 years I actually take that long of a break during the week. So it was much needed, but at the same time, I miss all of you guys in return. Okay, another big thing happened, of course, while I was away. Wrong slide here, is the return of the 17. And for the audience members, you guys know what we're talking about here. We're going to choose our words because this is still... I guess a very, very sensitive topic, and this is where a lot of the censorship in the truther community started 2 years ago with the expulsion of many truthers on YouTube. I was a victim to that as well. But now it seems to be back. So there's a lot of mainstream articles now saying that, okay, after 18 months of being quiet, suddenly it's back. Is it real? Is it not real? And if you look at CNN, they're attaching that to the January 6th. They're making it very convoluted, and they're saying that, of course, this is just maybe fodder for the crazy people to be even more crazy. So that's their slant on things. But Janine, first and foremost, is this new post, let's call it that for now, is it legit? Is it born out of the same inner... Okay.
I didn't even, this is the first card I pulled. Okay, I'd already looked at that and I got a yes, but I thought, okay, let's look at it again tonight. We got a yes. We got a yes.
Well, that's important because, two things. I was talking to Cliff and Joe a couple of days ago too, and I guess I can share this here, but from his opinion also, he thought that this new iteration was legit. Now, it is early days, granted, things could change. There's always weird obfuscation and shenanigans going on, but it appears to be legit. So now the question is, why, after all of this time, are we reactivating this communication line? Just to call it that way, Janine, I think, okay, how do I phrase this? In a way, it could be to expose more people and go further in more censorship, or it could be signaling also that we're about to enter a new stage of this spiritual war. I think that's probably on the mark. What do the cards have to say?
I think it's signaling the beginning of the end of something. So let's hope it's the movie. Yeah, I think it's signaling a new beginning. Okay, because this card is looking at something new, because something's too worn out or we're sick of something. It's like a lot of truthers. If they were taking the pulse at all, which I believe the white hats have been all along, and I think that group we've been talking about, the 17, as we're going to call them, they're definitely connected somehow to that alliance and white hats, in my opinion. I don't know if you would share that opinion.
Yes, I do. I think there was infiltration. There's been some weird things happening, but generally speaking, I believe it to be a white hat op in the sense that it's been part and parcel, I think, part of what Cliff High calls the self-organizing collective, or this army that's working behind the scenes here. So I agree with that. Now, okay, go ahead, keep going.
So that's saying that something's done, almost done. It's this is almost too much, but not quite. 10 is too much. Then we had a 10, too much for the people. So I think they were gauging what we can tolerate as a community, the people that are supportive of all of these things in the truther community, and they're ready to come and help out again. Come and get us through and also it could be signaling a rough road ahead, because there's going to be some bumps. But then I get on the bottom row here, it looks like the coming back of a certain Mr. T.
Right.
And so there may also be signaling and preparing the road for that.
Okay. You, on your Tarot by Janine, you have a last episode here called Mr. T Timing and Taking It All Back. Gently speaking here, watching your words, what can the audience expect here by watching this video? What are you talking about here?
Well, I kind of decode actually his, not really, but I just look at a few points of his latest rally. Mm-hmm. And because it was said to me, many different people emailed me and said, okay, he was pointing to the 17th letter of the alphabet drops that had dropped the day and the day of that rally and the day before.
Right.
So what I was seeing, is that true? So it looked like he was signaling, and also it was looking like he's really getting ready to make a big move. Mm-hmm. So I was just looking into, is that true? Okay. And then I looked into, is that 17? Is that legit? And it looked like it was.
Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned we just did the Beyond Crypto Woo, and oddly enough, we kind of had to tackle this subject here because the whole story of the economy, the currency changeover, the return to maybe a gold-backed standard or sound money, whatever you want to call it, does go through what we're predicting here. A big change on the horizon needs to happen in order for us to move into that next phase. And this is where we're seeing all of these bumps that are already occurring here in front of us if you look at this episode. But let's take a pulse on that. The idea that these bumps here moving forward have more of a military slant. Now, in that episode, we talked about it from two angles. One, the self-organizing collective, or the actual army or militaries around the world, the white hats, as we call them. And two, also the warriors, like the people watching these shows, who are truth warriors and digital warriors here, overwhelming the system. As Cliff High said months ago, they would eventually be subsumed by the woo and by the reality in the woo, and they could no longer perpetuate their false narratives. So there's two armies here coming up on the scene. Let's pull some cards here and see which one has maybe more legs, or is going to be more impactful, or what we need to know on how to kind of regard these two armies here coming to light.
These all look like they're going to be working together. These all look like a merging to me. We've got the big ace in the middle. So really, as soon as you said the two armies, the ace showed up. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking all of these cards look really, they're congruent and hardworking. I think we're all going to be working together. And this was in the past. So there's a merging. And I got this a few months ago where I got that I wasn't necessarily talking about the 17, but I was talking about the white hats and the alliance, that they'd be stepping out a little more in the vision of regular folks. Mm-hmm. And so we could actually see who they were.
Okay. Again, here we're echoing a lot of stuff that Cliff High was talking about, but a couple of months ago when he was on my show, he had detailed something in his data that would suggest that one, this SOC, this self-organizing collective, would come out in the open. So we were all waiting for that to realize that we weren't fighting this alone, right? And two, that eventually, as his Webbot data was suggesting, they would merge with us. So what you're saying now seems to be right on point. So wow, that's exciting. That's exciting for many levels, because again, here now we're doing okay. A lot of things here we can't say. There's a new bill here in Canada again against censorship. You guys can go do the work on that. So you can see that on one hand, they're trying to prevent this army of digital truthers on that side. Now, that's because we're doing a lot of damage to the narrative. Now, could you imagine having the help of an actual self-organizing collective army type individuals with more resources than perhaps just Janine and I sitting in front of our computers with the little resources that we have? So that's very exciting. Real world witnesses. Yeah, exciting time to be alive. Okay. Do we want to take a pulse on that, Janine? Is there something else? Oh, the cat's back. The cat was very busy here today, Janine.
Yeah.
The first episode as well. Is there a third army coming up online too, Janine? I want something screaming at me to ask you that. Is it a third army that's coming up online, maybe to be visual, that comes from the exterior, like in outer space? Or is there another army that's coming up online too, of brand new people that have yet to be activated, that soon, maybe because of the merger of those first two armies, will suddenly have the impetus to activate itself? I'm curious what the cards would say to that.
Yeah, I like what you said about the self-actualizing sock or whatever. What do you call it? The self-actualizing
sock.
The sock. Okay, I like how you said
self-organizing collective.
Yeah, that's it. Because this looks like something that's been hidden reaches the general population or comes out of hiding. So everybody can see them. And it's something we've been missing. This was in the past. And it does feel like we're missing it. And maybe they picked up on and they were gauging everybody's reaction, because there was a lot of people dropping off and feeling really disappointed in the last weeks and months. Right. Just I was getting a lot of emails where people just really needed a lot of help to stay focused, because it's a lot of struggle to just trust. Now, I'll be honest. I lived my whole life trusting in unseen things. That's been my whole career, my life. So I don't have any trouble with that. Everything I do is in that realm. I'm a tarot reader, career tarot reader. I've worked in the magic realm my whole life. So to me, it's easy, but it's not easy for most people. It's hard. And I think they were gauging it and they thought, okay, time to stop being secretive. We got to come out. They need us. They need us. People were starting to infightings getting off the charts. The truth or infightings just off the charts. Things like that. So I feel like they're going to come and help round us up again.
Okay, let's switch gears here too. Historic changes are happening as we speak. The New York Supreme Court also overturned the right of non-residents voting. That just happened earlier today. And of course, this decision, this huge reversal of this landmark decision here. You just did this episode with Todd Numbers and Michael here. Why is this important? And what do you want to share with the audience here? Again, watching the words here.
Yeah. Well, we look at that big, what was overturned by the Supreme Court that caused such a ruckus. We were just this was the day we actually did that video, the day that happened or the day after. And it was just important to take a pulse and see, are we going to have the kind of rioting that I think was planned by the bad guys when that came out? And we also explain a little bit about the R versus W. Things like that, right? We explain a little bit about that because the agenda behind it's nothing like how it was presented. And a lot of people are writing to me and they're in a lot of conflict around that because they want to support women's rights. They want to support, the things that it's supposed to represent somehow. But of course, we know that it's a different agenda, and it was also created on falsehood.
Right.
So we explain that, we bring that
Okay.
up. We also go all over the place with.
That's a nebulous topic to to dive into, Janine. Good on you for that. Well, okay. Let's go back here to the consequences. Now, the bad guys here, the legacy media, are trying to use this to foment more of those peaceful, protests they were talking about for July 6th. Do you see that happening? Are we going to fall for that again? Is there enough momentum to create that type of event where, again, the truthers, the freedom lovers are going to be accused of, bad things and bad words again to justify maybe putting in even more control mechanisms on the population? Is that what's in the cards?
No, we got 2 pages. So pages are smaller. So take it down. And then we got this in the middle. So I think that was what they wanted, because pages are like a soft yes, and this card's in the past. So they're aiming for a lot of trouble out of this and aiming for what you're describing. So some false flappy things to happen and to create some more hysteria similar to the January and then the number 6 kind of hysteria. Okay, which is anybody with common sense just has to look at the reality of that situation. But if it's presented and you're only watching it on CNN, I guess you could fall for it, right? Anyway, so it looks like a whole lot of take it way down. So gossip and innuendo. They don't have nearly the resources. So their strategies are all falling apart here.
Yeah.
And we get sort of, this is a very careful card. So there could be you might see some of that, but there's no major arcana cards. Take everything down, way down. It's not going to cause nearly the ruckus they want it to.
Is it possible that this decision, again, if we look at it from the perspective of the bad guys and what they want, is it possible that they're trying to create this huge malaise or gathering of people here for their nefarious activities because they want to counteract perhaps the constitutional lovers, freedom lovers, and their peaceful association with July 4th? Is there a struggle here to hold a narrative on that important date coming up in the States, and perhaps the return of certain characters or the removal of certain characters? What can a card say to that?
It feels like there's a feeling of vulnerability around what might happen. So they're feeling like people could overwhelm with truth that day, or they could be overwhelmed. All of their efforts are being overwhelmed. So we're looking at it from the perspective of the bad guys. So this is feeling like maybe unprotected. That person's naked in the wilderness. And then the 4. So almost like trying to protect what little they have left of the narrative. So I feel like this is more desperate. It's not even as organized as what you're saying. I feel like there's just desperate grasping for what we could do to protect ourselves at this point because we're hooped.
Right. Now, that's coinciding in the same time frame here for this weekend, July 1st, here in Canada. And here, of course, the legacy media is posturing quite a bit, saying that this Ottawa Canada Day festival will see unprecedented, quote unquote, security response. We have a brand new line of cadets that just graduated. This is for them going to be their first assignment. And a lot of our police forces across Canada have been put on standby for what the mainstream media call, the extremist people who, want to sing "Oh Canada, strong and free," and who want to display the signs of
Canadian flags.
Right. That hate symbol. So yes. So let's talk about that too. Why is that happening here in Canada at the same time? Are they also expecting maybe in French, l'unité nationale, this sentiment of belonging of Canadians finally coming back together in a huge crescendo? Because remember, during the last rally, there was 3 million people on the hill and it was minus 30 outside. Yep. So can you imagine how many people are coming to Ottawa for peaceful and nationalistic views coming into Ottawa for July 1st? Is that what's scaring them?
I wonder, are they going to ban bouncy castles?
Right.
Because I know they put those up for Canada Day. Yeah. Anyway, so we've got this. So that this is them. So the hanged man. So they don't know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know. So they're in the dark. So maybe a lot of their intel's been taken down or intercepted. So they don't really know what to expect. So they're just anything could happen, right? The Fool, both major arcanas. So they're fearing anything. It's like they're in the dark. They're stabbing in the dark. What is that party going to look like? Is it going to, and is it going to be what really it'll look like is it'll be an incredible, it will be a great party. Actually, I wish I was going to be there. It's going to be a great day. This looks really fun. It looks like a lot of really, really good, just good Canadian people coming together, ready to really embrace each other. We've got an ace of cups. So it's really from the heart. Well, they don't like that. They don't like all this hearty, nice stuff here. So that's all nicey nice and sharing, and everybody's loving each other up. Kind of like what was going on when you were there reporting live on the Hill. It was a whole lot of hugging and just people loving each other up. Well, they don't like that.
No, imagine that.
Happen.
Yeah. Okay. How do I phrase this? Okay.
They're trying to minimize that.
Yeah.
So and they don't really know what to expect because, like I said, I think their intel's all broken up.
Okay. Let me phrase this next question as delicate. Now, during the last time all these loving, freedom-loving, hugging people were there, the government saw that as a threat and called in the Emergencies Act to deal with it. And now for Canada Day, and people are asking, if you're not from this country, it's July 1st. A few people are asking in the chat. So July 1st is our Canada Day. They've now moved the historic Canada Day celebrations off of Parliament Hill further down to the west at LeBreton's Flats. Now, in attempt, I guess, to not have people coagulate in that area, which was the problem area for them in the first place. Is it possible that some of these bad players, let's just call it that, might use this occasion now again for a flappy thing on the pole to again marginalize these peace-loving Canadians and perhaps introduce even more measures? Because don't forget, the police came out in these last reports here saying that they never asked for the Emergencies Act. They didn't even need it. So is it possible this government here now, who's trying to look a little bit better in public opinions, are going to create some events to say, see, we needed that in the first place. Look at all these horrible people. Yes.
They're going to plant some people in the crowd for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Mr. Turdo and bunch. They're going to plant some bad newsers. Yeah, in the party crowd. So party.
Yeah.
Some people, but I have a feeling they'll be taken care of and or embraced by the party, or I don't think it'll work because this is the outcome. So this is everybody's working together. So this is a really good congruent card. I feel like they just end up partying with everybody else. I don't think they're going to, let's say you might see some of that. They might get some footage of it, but not anywhere close to what they wanted.
Okay. You just said congruent, and Leslie Ann is saying coagulate, JC, or congregate? All of the above. Oh my God. Yeah, it's hard to get back in the saddle when you haven't done this for a while, because I was speaking French quite a bit. And when I come back and I have to speak in English, I'm lagging in my translation. So Leslie Ann, yes, thank you. Coagulate works also. Great show, JC. Thank you so much. And great question. Yeah, it's interesting because the more we know, that's a possibility, we can stand on guard for thee, like as the Canadian anthem says, and really look out for each other and prevent that, even with our own energy being there, prevent some of this stuff from actually happening or having the intended effect, as Janine is saying. Mm-hmm. So that's all great. Okay, let me go to the PayPal tip jar. Quite a few questions in there already. Before I do that, Amy, that's going to be your question here. I just wanted to share this pyramid that is up for grabs this evening for one of you lucky PayPal tip jar donators. So let's see what Carla has to say about this one.
Hi everyone, this is Carla from Ascension Organites, and today I have Andrea for you. So Andrea was made with the intention of helping develop psychic abilities, anything that has to do with mind, soul, connection, communication with higher self, connection to higher self, and also protection above all. So she's made of laboratory crystals with amethyst crystals, aluminum metals, and the flower of life in silver. I'll give her a quick turnaround so you can see her. And there it is. I hope you guys like her, and I'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
I really like that, but I don't know why it's so washed out. It's not coming up like that when I look at it off my slide deck.
Yep.
So what I'm going to do, guys, because this is a beautiful pyramid. I'm not sure what's happening here. I'll put the link down in the live chat now so that you guys can go and actually see what this thing looks like without being washed out like this on my screen. At any rate, guys, you can have one of these amazing creations in your own possession here if you go to ascensionorganites.com. That's Carla's website. And if you use the coupon code there, BeyondMystic, you'll get an extra 10% off of these amazing creations. Okay, so that, again, for the PayPal tip jar donators, one of you lucky winners tonight. So let's get now to Amy. Let me see if I can zoom this on the screen for you guys. Amy says, fingers crossed, you're going to read this question. Yes, I'm reading it. Fingers crossed worked. Okay, hold on. Where does it keep disappearing? I recently stumbled upon a newer, quote unquote, not well-known form of energy healing. Is this my meant path to help others in the new world? Thanks, Amy. Really cool. I'm curious which one it is of the newer, not well-known energy healing modalities. At any rate, is this the path for Amy?
I got a feeling she'll come across something else, but maybe this is a stepping stone. So it could be the beginning to what becomes. So it's maybe one step towards it, but maybe not the whole picture. So I'm thinking, yeah, she will come across it. And this is my July, August kind of card going into late summer and then into fall. So I was thinking maybe as she carries on in that, it's really close that she'll come. It's almost like an moment's going to happen for her, where things will start to just fit together. So it's not exactly a yes, but it's moving towards that, or one of the stepping stones.
Right. So a stepping stone to it. So maybe learning the language to eventually, fall into exactly what you want. So a step to something else. Okay. So not to be discarded. Anyways, it's building to where she wants to go. Okay, Amy, I hope that helps. That's a great answer. Thank you, Janine. Sky Girl Mama on the Discord channel question: is the SCOTUS going to rule on the 2020 result on Wednesday, June 29th? So she's being very specific here. On Wednesday, June 29th of this year, is SCOTUS going to go back and review and maybe rule on some results? Rock. Okay.
That's the very first part I got. So that's looking really good.
Wow.
Yeah. So we've been waiting a really long time for that. Yeah. And it looks like it's timely. And then this is moving out of troubled water. So getting some clarity on something. So it feels like good news. So this looks very exciting.
Wow. Okay. Let me set up this next question here. It comes with a picture. Let me see if I can drag that over to the slide deck. I believe I can. You guys see that? Yeah. Okay, that's up. This is from Jules. Jules 2929, again on the Insider Access Pass Discord channel. She says, hi and welcome back, JC and Janine. I've been seeing a blurry green tablet through violet clouds during meditation for a month now. Recently, I have also seen a stone-colored tablet. My research led me to this image. I'm seeing the emerald. Okay, am I seeing the emerald tablet of Thoth, and why? So I'm interested in the why. I think that's what she's seeing in her dreams. She's alluding to that, but let's see what the cards have to say. But specifically, why she's seeing that, and perhaps what she needs to do with this information. Great question.
she had something to do with it. She might have even been one of many people that had something to do with creating that or revealing that, or, you know, creating the tablet itself.
Wow.
So that's wow. And it's karmic and timely for her to get to kind of understand who she really is. And this was in the past. So I feel like she has some kind of aversion to seeing herself as that special, or, you know, like for years, I remember I used to always think, okay, I was only in past lives. I only would remember enslaved past lives and really hard lives. And I remember talking to somebody who does sort of the Akashic records. I don't know if I said that right, but they looked at my past lives and they said, well, actually, you've been royalty as well. You've not only been living in hovels. And I had this funny idea about myself. And she said, no, that's it's like you can't see yourself as anything beyond that. So maybe this person has the same, you know, ego issue, like our negative ego can't grasp that we could be kind of real special. She had a big part in creating that and or bringing that knowledge to humans.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Jules, I want to hear more. If you have more dreams like that, it'd be really interesting. Because, of course, I'm connected to a Mercury book that is similar to these tablets as well. So I'm curious, Jules, if you've dreamt about that one as well and how that ties into all of these things. I'll go back to the PayPal tip jar here in a moment, but I wanted to take this quick focus on what's starting to come up now in mainstream news. Again, you and I just recorded the Beyond Crypto Woo today. We talked about silver and gold. Here, we're getting predictions in mainstream news. This is a Kitco article of $300 silver, which is halfway to the 600 target that Cliff High had in his Webbot data, and $5,000 gold as being possible here. Here, of course, they're talking about 5-10 years. And you have to understand that in order to put stuff in the mainstream news, sometimes years or months or years or sometimes days in order to get stuff done here. So never mind the timing for now, but just the fact that they're talking about these numbers in mainstream news is indicative here that something just happened behind the scene. And I wanted to bring up this one here about Russia defaulting for the first time. Here, let's put this up on the screen here. There you go. Sanctions drive Russia to first foreign debt default since 1918. Okay. This has catastrophic repercussions that are yet to be determined. There's a lot of unintended consequences to pushing these people into this position right now. And so in the same token as this is happening, we're talking about $300 silver and $5,000 gold. Now, you'll remember last month, Janine and I were talking about this idea that perhaps Russia and China were colluding to get to a $10,000 per ounce gold price here to put some stability back into the system. So Janine, my first question is here, is this event, this default here, one of the precursors that is going to drive us to those prices here in the very near term?
Well, I'm not getting a yes per se, but I'm getting maybe it speeds it up. Maybe that happening because there's a speed it up card. It could speed up that result that we're looking for because she really manifests in a big way. And we know that those metals are worth more than they're being shown to be worth, right? We've known that, and we know that they've been manipulating them for years, or that's what we've been getting. Okay, I feel like it speeds it up to that end. It may not be entirely responsible for it, but it sure helps speed it up.
Help speed it up. Okay. There's another thing in this article. They're talking about peer-to-peer transaction, of course, the patent of Reggie Middleton. This was also a Webbot prediction where the government would at some point come back hand in hand. Now, a lot needs to happen, and a lot of markets need to be destroyed, and a lot of, they're talking about Swift system here being cut off. A lot of these things need to happen for us to realize that we don't need the middleman, that we could use the advantages here of peer-to-peer as indicated here in one of these patents from Reggie Middleton. So in terms of speeding up gold and silver, that's one thing, but does it also speed up perhaps the dismantling of these middlemen who are trying right now desperately to introduce their central bank issued digital currencies to control us even more?
It gives us strength so we can ditch them.
Right.
Yeah. So it gives us the power to ditch those guys. And it's definitely in motion. It feels like this is coming. Those systems are going to get ditched, and we're going to be more independent and directly handling our finances. Like, I'm probably not saying it right, but you know what I
No, I understand what you mean, because here again in the mainstream news in the last couple of weeks, we've been hammered by stories like this one here. Sorry, this was David Morgan recapturing this news article. The Bank of International Settlements, of course, is alluding to the fact that crypto, as we know it, has structural flaws, and that, you know, is unstable for a monetary system. But central bank issued digital currencies, those are good. So you can see here the narrative that's being pushed out, and that's because they know something big is about to change, and they're positioning themselves here to not lose control. That's what we're seeing. And of course, somebody on the screen, Elliot, is saying, yeah, gold will destroy the Fed. Yes, absolutely. Let's talk about the mechanism of control. Rapidly speaking, let's put both of them in. I had Alistair McLeod talking about something else earlier. I'm not sure which metals market. Oh, this was the zinc market. Again, this one having some issues here. What about these mechanisms of control for silver and gold? You said earlier at the beginning of the part of the show, the 9 card and the 10 card were almost out of room here. What's happening with these mechanisms of control, and how much time do people have here before getting some physical silver and gold in their own position?
Well, I think we're there. That's looking there. So now we've got the 10, and a 9 and a 10 again, but these are really positive 9s and 10s. So everything's lining up to get us exactly where we need to go. So what these bad guys wanted to stop from happening is going ahead and happening anyway. That's why I'm pretty sure we're winning this situation. Right.
Okay. Very good news. Well, folks, let me bring up just rapidly while we're here as well. These are the discounts available for the Beyond Mystic audience. You can find that at beyondmystic.net/silver if you're on the American side of the viewership. And if you're in Canada, you can also get access to this amazing discount here at $7.99 over spot for the silver maples from the Royal Canadian Mint. Absolutely amazing price. That's almost $2 or $3 underneath most of their competitors here in Canada. So do you go check that out? mfbullion.ca. All right, man, we're 42 minutes in, and there's still a gazillion news stories on my deck. Let me see if I can get a question first. Let's go back to I want to talk to my Insider Access past members. I haven't seen you in a while. Okay, hold on. This one here, Miss Kimberly B. More and more of the pieces to my life puzzles are falling into place. I am realizing that I am either Lemurian from the Alpha Centauri. What do the cards say? Love and hugs. Wow, that's cool. Miss Kimberly B. What do the cards have to say about her lineage from Lemuria and from Alpha Centauri? What does Kimberly B need to know, Janine?
Well, she's definitely from other worlds and traveled here and made a commitment to come at this time. So we got ourselves a star seed. I get in one of her past incarnations, she was a warrior. And I feel like she still communicates with some of her warrior friends. So it's like off-world soldiers, or maybe they're part of the alliance. I don't know, but they're friendly to humans. They're good to humans. She was one of those, and they still have contact with her. So I feel like she has, if she's not feeling that yet. That's a whole nother chapter to open up. He's on to a couple of them, but I feel like there's way more to it. And she made a commitment to come here to help the world get past and through this difficult time, get us to the other side of this. So definitely a starseed, and there's some warrior lifetimes too. And she even stays in contact with her warrior buddies on some level. So ask her, I wonder, does she feel like she travels when she sleeps? Has she had odd dreams about being in craft? Like, and you can pay attention to those things, even if you haven't had a conscious memory of that.
Yeah.
You can just ask yourself to really pay attention when you wake up, and have a pen and pad by your bed to jot down impressions when you wake up, things like that.
Right. Okay. Another question on silver. Actually, I just saw Susan 1111 is asking question: will silver ever reach 20,000 per ounce? I'm wondering why she got that number. If so, any general timing? Thank you and blessings. Now, she's not far off the mark, because Jim Sinclair last year, based on the money printing last year, was saying that gold should be around $96,000 an ounce. I believe it was the number, and that silver could eventually reach parity with gold. So let's ask the question as it's asked, Janine. Could silver actually reach $20,000 per ounce? Susan 1111 is asking.
Yep. So see this card here? So it's already, there's a bunch of things in place that could create that reality. And we've got a 6 around it. So I'm thinking 6 months with that card.
Wow.
But I mean, we were expecting silver to already go up.
Yeah. And the thing is, it might have already done so, but the price control mechanisms are not telling us yet. Again, we keep coming back with something has changed in the background, but it's still being obfuscated from us, right? The magic.
Yeah, we're getting lied to.
Yeah,
we're getting lied to. And I don't know, they're buying time, I guess.
Wow.
So they can stash it.
Gypsy Nikki, holy moly. Yeah, no shit. Holy moly. That's a big one. Yeah. Okay. Could you imagine at $20 now? That's pretty cheap. And as all of these investors are saying, like, this criminality to suppress the price is subsidizing your ability to transfer your hard-earned wealth into metals during this transition. So sometimes it's annoying and we're tired of waiting, but at the same time, an extra day, an extra dollar of silver in your possession, not a bad deal. Not a bad deal at all. Yep. Okay. All right, Lakeside Laura. Will the incoming light upgrade our DNA? So I just tweeted about this the other day. We had a huge spike in what's it called? The Schumann resonance. I'm going to see if I can find the poster again. There's so many things on the screen. So there's this theory coming up here, and you interviewed a gentleman a couple of weeks ago who was also talking about the fact that the sun would eventually sneeze or have a CME, a coronal mass ejection, and the light would somehow reactivate some of those royal genes, as we have a huge experimentation here of many civilizations inbuilt into our DNA here, and that might be activating us into the superpowers and the gods that we actually are, quote unquote. So is that possible, Janine, that we're looking towards one of those events here very soon?
So this is where we're sitting, which feels like we're inundated with dysfunction and stuff that's been done to us by the bad guys. So that would be the dark hats, right? And this is a dysfunctional, and like, so there's a lot of fog, and so the people that are really seeing through things, we should be patting ourselves on the back, because we're doing great to stand in our truth, because it's hard to, we're unpopular, we're getting laughed at sometimes, we're getting, right? But it just so many people not seeing this at all, because this has been done. So then this card, this is what happens the more we get these spikes. And that's clarity, and where now you can activate your off-world DNA if you have any, and I think everybody does. Ashley and I did a deep dive, and we were all star-seeded on Earth somehow. We're made up of all kinds of things, energies from all over the galaxy. So, or all the dimensions. I don't know how to say it exactly, right?
Right.
But the energy of entities that aren't living right in the here and now with us. Okay, we're made up of all kinds of them, all of us. So.
Okay, that's interesting because in the mainstream news as of late, and even a couple of days ago, I saw weather advisory on the Weather Network saying that it was absolutely dangerous to be out in the sun. And I was curious why that, again, is making headline news when we're hearing other truthers say that it's absolutely important, Janine, to be out in the sun. As the King Lion here is demonstrating, there is a lot of value to sunning those particular regions in the body for many, many reasons. But yeah, now we're being told, of course, by mainstream news that that's absolutely damaging. Go ahead, Jenny. You know where I'm going with the question.
Who put that out? I said, who put that out?
Exactly.
That's a ploy. That's what they've been trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Get out in the sun, and whatever you do, I wouldn't be slathering on that. I'm leery of sunscreen, and I'm not a medical doctor, and I don't know.
Yeah.
But I have an intuitive knowing about things, and I don't feel good about it, and I don't use it. Never have.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking that was all a ploy to get us to do the opposite of what was good for us. I really do. And I don't mean stare right at it and burn your skin. And I'm not saying that. But a little bit of that every day is absolutely good. I always feel way better.
Well, again, here too, people have high doses of vitamin D. Don't appear in the ranks of the people with the problems right now around the planet. So there apparently is a correlation at that level. Now, on the spiritual war front, and of course, I'm having fun with our nice little lion here. He looks so comfortable. But don't go pull him by the tail. Could be dangerous to your health. Okay. Yeah. But at the same time here, this idea of not being out of the sun, not necessarily for our health, but in order to be activated by this light, a lot of people are saying that some of the products that have been offered to people in the last 2 years was also to prevent that communication of light to take hold in the body. So what can we say to those people who maybe have taken those products about the sun and about how maybe there's a way out for them also here? I'm being guided to ask this question, although it's difficult to get into this topic here on YouTube. What can you say on that, Janine?
Well, there's setbacks if you got the booby trap batch.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think all of the batches, a lot of them were saline. That's my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that's what I was consistently getting. So there's going to be setbacks. I never get that you're all doomed if you decide to do something about it, take action, open your eyes, and come into the light, as it were, come into awareness. Say you felt coerced to do that, or you did that out of fear, or whatever happened. Okay, I never get there's got to be a way to balance it, because this card's about balance.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like there's probably going to be ways that people can balance it. And this is interesting. This is the near future. We might even hear about that. I remember I used to do readings on what would the damaged people do about it later if they decided they wanted to reverse that damage. Okay. Right. And I always got that Mr. T and the White Hats had some kind of a formula or the answer to that, or could help with that. So there may be some things that we can do that'll be provided or shown to us or told to us, or there could already be out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Calls, etc.
Okay.
Wow. But you'd have to go looking for them and be willing to open your eyes, is what I think. You have to want to heal yourself, like any kind of issue.
Okay. We're 53 minutes in. What can I do? Do you want to take another question, Janine? Is there anything else, first of all, that's on your radar? You and I haven't talked, generally speaking, other than the pay-per-view here in the last couple of days. Is there anything else you wanted to share, or you wanted to pull cards on tonight while we're here?
I think you're covering them pretty good.
Okay. Just getting back into the swing of things here.
Yeah, you're hitting them.
Okay. Let's see here. I have no. Okay. A lot of people are asking. Actually, there's more than one. They're asking if it's safe to fly. Generally speaking, here they were talking about July 4th, but it raises significant concerns about other things too. We've seen now some airline industry pilots being vocal about some of the dangers of having staff that might have taken some products, all that. But specifically to July 4th, is it safe to fly? What would you say? And then maybe in general, whatever the cards want to add to that.
I got a yes.
Okay.
And this is approaching something with caution, but then we've got this luxury. So it is flying is like kind of a luxury. I mean, I haven't been able to fly for some months now, even years. So to me, it feels like it'd be a huge luxury, but we did get a yes, it is safe. For the most part, because you're asking if it's safe, or it gets safer and safer is another way I could read that, because this card's going into the future. It's going to get safer. It feels like it gets better I know there's been issues, but I feel like we're getting a yes, it's going to be safe to fly. And around that date, let me just pull one around that date, because you got specific with the date.
Yep.
So none of those cards get me alarmed. Not at all.
Okay.
Okay, so. Okay, 7 of Pentacles. So there could be some things or some people's flights that may not be, because 7 of Pentacles is like a 70%. So we know that in the world, for the most part, most flights are safe. But there's always a percentage that aren't. So the cards are being pretty specific but none of it looks like there's no, like the big reasons that you might be alluding to doesn't feel like that's why. Just the usual things like turbulence or bad weather, or I can't promise every single person that flies will be safe, but they got a good ratio here.
Okay.
It doesn't look like there's any kind of big agenda to take people out of the sky or anything.
Okay. There was, I just wanted to add this because it came on my screen. Breaking news, Dr. Carrie Madej, a whistleblower about transhumanism and some of those products, was in a private plane that went down just recently. So that we could just add that to the conversation. Folks can't really get into those details. Another touchy subject, Janine. The pressure is mounting here, of course. Our friend Ghislaine is now placed on suicide watch after naming this particular foundation charity. What the hell's going on, Janine? Is she going to be Epstein? What's going on?
Let's ask that.
It's funny, most of the mainstream news are saying that she's been put on suicide watch because she got threat from jailers or staff at the prison. They're not seeming to make a correlation here to that other specific foundation.
Or they're just not saying.
Right.
I actually get she's safe, and she's actually made deals with Mr. T and the White Hats. So she's safe and she's made deals. I'm not getting that she's unsafe. So if they tell you something happened to her, I think that might be one of those false flappy things. All of these are safety. There's nothing alarming me here either. Facing justice. This is around the idea of children. She may face more justice in her lifetime, or she already has, maybe in the background that we don't know about, for her part in harming 12s and unders, like we know she was a part of, being in that community that she was in and everything, and dealing with, apparently she was gathering them up, actually. Okay, so I feel like it's trying to tell us she's actually been dealt with differently than you think in the background. But in the foreground, I don't think she's going to, they're not, the people you're assuming might get her, that couple that you showed up on the screen, I don't think they're going to be, frankly, I think they've been dealt with.
Well, this is a meme going on. Of course, I think this was Luke who put this up earlier today. Radowski, yeah, it was a funny joke. Lastly, I'm truly sorry for all that I've heard. Anyways, this is the couple here writing a nice letter.
Yeah.
You guys can take a snapshot and have some fun with that. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, well, I think that's pretty cool. I think we can end there. Actually, I'm going to ask you one last question. But Liz Bauer, okay, just did the tip jar. Something's wrong, guys, because I keep refreshing my screen, and it appears that my tip jar halted at 7:57 before the show started, or just as the show started, and nothing's come up since. So Liz and everybody else, for some reason right now, the updates to the live tip jar are not populating. Not sure what it is. Nevertheless, those of you who have supported us there tonight, a big thank you. Of course, I'll be picking the winners and sending that to Carla tomorrow. But I've been wondering what the hell is happening all night. It seems to be just stalled there. So I don't know if it's a PayPal problem or an internet connection problem with them, although I'm logged in. Not sure. So Liz, I apologize. I don't see the question here, and we're almost out of time. And I apologize to everybody else too. I wish I could have taken more questions from the PayPal tip jar. Not sure what's going on there. Okay. Thank you, JC and Janine. Thank you, Wall. I appreciate that. Janine, something happened in the field this weekend. I believe there was a shift somewhere, and then suddenly there's a lot of things that seems to, like the dominoes have started to move. You can feel that suddenly there's a momentum because of it. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of people emailed me also saying, hey, something weird happened, I think Friday or Saturday, perhaps, and this was in line with the 17 also. What can the cards tell us about what just happened in the field? It's a positive thing for humans. We seem to have broken a stalemate of sorts. If you're in the chat now and you felt this energy this weekend, let us know how this manifested for you in your life also. But there was a weird shift. I'm not sure what it is. Janine, what would you say?
Interesting you say that, because both Ashley and I were discussing early on Saturday morning. So like 5 for me and 4 for her a.m. We were awoken by strange sounds, and it almost like they were waking me up to pay attention, that something was going on. And it was between 4 a.m. and 5. And both Ashley and I had the experience between those hours. So yeah, I know what you're saying. Well, it definitely looks like it has something to do with justice again. So we've got justice, and I think a really big person got rounded up, or there was a really big trial, or there was a really big somebody got taken to justice at that time, it looks like, or over the weekend. And it was a woman, and it has to do with crimes against young ones in the world. So they got taken off the earth plane. So that's interesting. So maybe a really big evil got taken off the earth plane, just for starters. And it's to the advantage of the general population to get that person dealt with. I know that sounds brutal, but what they do is brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. You're saying a woman. My first gut feeling, well, it still could be a female, but I was going towards more an entity other than necessarily what we would consider the human race. So something else here at a higher level might have been removed. Do you want to pick some extra card on that and see if there's any sense to that? Is that because we have the arrival of perhaps some other helpers that are not also terrestrials?
Well, we've got our good in army card, and then we've got the magician. So that feels like we don't get to know exactly.
Or that sounds a lot like the self-organizing collective, that maybe they're starting to make some big moves.
Making some big moves, but also with the magician. So they're definitely doing it under the cloak. They're still cloaked though. Now, the interesting thing is, it looks like going forward that we're going to see more of them. And that's what some other people, wise people have been saying, like you were saying, Cliff was saying something like that.
Yeah.
But there was 2 black body bags photographed, filmed coming out of the White House.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, because that's the whole energy I'm getting here is a really important player, whether they were, it's not really telling me, oh, okay, I got it. I just asked directly, was that an off-worlder? We got a yes. So an off-worlder. And then we got a 2 of Pentacles underneath. So maybe even a hybrid of some kind. So dual. So got both. Anyway, so some big entity got taken care of. And I think that was probably a really big cog in the wheel, or whatever, however that saying goes.
Wow. Okay. That makes a lot of sense to me. And while we're at it, let's people have been waiting for us to come back on the show. Let's give them a few more minutes here. Let me just take this off the screen. Look outside Laura with the nice lizards. Yes, maybe the lizard lady is gone also. That could be for the Wednesday show, actually. Like I said, Laura, we'll get back to that. But this is the video Janine is talking about here. Let me see if I can censor that in the screen for you guys. Do you think the entities or the removals have something to do with this, or this is something completely different? Have you read cards on this already, Janine?
No, this will be fun. Okay, let's have a look.
Yeah, what's going on here? What can we glean from the cards? There's what appears to be 2 bags here being rolled out.
So White Hat, Alliance, Justice. Wow. Okay, 6, moving out of troubled waters. And an ace. So that was what you thought it was. They were moving body bags, and it was because of crimes against 12 and unders.
Wow. Wow.
Isn't that interesting? So 9 and 10. So these would have been fairly high players. Not who I was talking about, though.
No, this is different. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this feels different. This feels.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. So then we got the Chariot. So the other thing I was talking about, I pulled 2 more cards. Feels like it might have been somewhere, maybe even not on the Earth plane, or in another sort of time frame, or a really big thing might have happened in the galactic or the multiverse, let's say. Maybe what we were getting in the energy on the weekend. A really big player might have got taken off, but not on planet. That's what that started.
While we're there, I'm going to ask you the question then. Is it possible that what was removed was actually from the spaceship that we called the moon?
What, those 2 bags that came out of the...
No. The entity that was removed, maybe not here on Earth, but in control of humanity here, maybe this happened actually on the moon and not on the planet, but still huge repercussions from that moving forward here in our 3D realm.
Yep. I was looking for that moon card. Okay, so we got the moon card, and we've got soldier. That's our positive military again. So they took them out on the moon. So yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm running out of time, guys, to give you all of these ideas that are screaming through my head. But if you haven't seen this movie, Moonfall 2022, go check it out. Halle Berry in here. Look, good cast of actors. And I wonder how they made this movie, because in it, of course, there's all of disclosure about the moon not actually being what we think it is.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Oh, dude, really cool.
That's what I'm doing tonight.
Yeah, go check it out, guys. You're really going to love it. And of course, just on time, of course, Hollywood put this in our sphere to understand that perhaps we need to pay attention again to the moon, probably because shit was about to go down there as well. So there's a lot there. Patricia Banks, JC, I love your laugh. Okay. I've had time to relax, so I'm much more festive than usual. Yes, go ahead, Janine.
As you were saying that, I pulled one for why did that get on sort of social media just now? Strategy. It was a strategy, like you said.
Wow.
They're pulling all of the like on every layer. They're doing what the bad guys did to us over all those years. They're programming us to see the truth now, where we were being programmed to shut down and not see the truth. And now they're doing the opposite. And it's starting to have an effect. I really believe it is. With a lot of people that otherwise wouldn't. Yeah.
Exciting times, Janine. Exciting times. Carol says, wow, best investigative duo ever. Thank you. I appreciate that. We're on fire. Good. Yes. And guys, please do go check out the last Beyond Crypto Woo. Of course, the insiders have it now. Public tomorrow for pay-per-view, as well as this one that is available now on the Bermuda Triangle. The connections are just as wild and crazy on that show as well. So if you haven't seen that and you want to see what we're digging into and why Janine, Julie, and I continue to be completely baffled by these investigations, they absolutely don't go where we thought they would go. Please do go check it out and leave comments. Let us know what you like and where you want us to go next on these investigations, and we shall endeavor to give you even more of that amazing content that you guys are looking for. All right, guys, in the meantime, you can find Janine here at Sending Ravens with Tarot by Janine. Of course, you can go check out that last episode interview with Megan Rose. Check that out. And you can go also and subscribe here at Tarot by Janine to watch the last episode on the timing of the Mr. T return, and perhaps much, much more. This was Tarot Readings by Janine. I'm Jean-Claude BeyondMystic, and please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you soon. Au revoir.
Au revoir.